If you're considering moving to Duluth, Georgia, here's everything you need to know. Certainly one of the first things you should know is where exactly Duluth is located. It's in Gwinnett County, and Gwinnett County is kind of in the northeast part of Metro Atlanta. This is a suburb of Atlanta, so while it's not necessarily a neighborhood of Atlanta, it's actually outside of the city of Atlanta. It is within the Metro Atlanta area, and so it's about maybe 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes to Midtown from Duluth. So very often people who are working in Atlanta or one of the nearby cities, they choose Duluth as their residence because of its proximity. There are a lot of great things about living in Duluth, and we're certainly going to talk about a lot of these things, but there are also some downsides that we need to talk about as well. So let's get into it. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs of Atlanta. Another thing that you should know about Duluth when it comes to living here is what the vibe of this city is like. Again, it's not like the city. It's not like you're going to be walking around to the grocery store or walking to all the different things in the city. This is more like a suburban area. It's also not very country. This is not an area that I would consider to be like super out there in the sticks and rural. It's not that kind of thing either. It's a mix of the two. You're certainly going to be like car dependent. You're probably living in a neighborhood of Duluth and then driving to one of the commercial areas, for like the groceries or going to restaurants or shopping. They have the commercial areas outside of the neighborhood residential areas. And so this is the typical kind of suburban lifestyle that you have in Duluth. Now, there are a lot of great things about living here, and one of those things that kind of sets this city apart is its downtown area. Downtown Duluth has lots of these shops and restaurants that are all very compact, and so you could, for the most part, walk around that downtown area. If you lived very close to that downtown area, you would have the easy walkability, but for the most part, people don't live that close to downtown. Duluth is a very large, spread out city, and so for the most part, you'd be car dependent, but the downtown area is very easily walkable. This is also kind of a historic feeling downtown area. They've done a great job of preserving that historic charm. The train goes right through downtown Duluth, and so you certainly feel that kind of history while you're in downtown Duluth. They've got lots of great things to do there. They've got a big open field like right in front of the city hall building, and so this is a common place for people to hang out, hit the ball or play catch or have a picnic or whatever. This is certainly one of the best parts of living in Duluth. Another thing that you definitely need to know is about the public schools here. Because it's in Gwinnett County, you can be sure that these are some of the best public schools in all of Georgia. Gwinnett is known for having some of the best public schools, and so Duluth also has benefited from that. Chattahoochee Elementary School, Coleman Middle School, and Duluth High School are all an A on niche.com, and so these are certainly some of the best public schools and one of the reasons why so many people choose to live in Duluth. Another thing that this city does a great job of is demographics. According to the city's website, duluthga.net, Duluth is 36.9% white, 23.8% Black or African American, 23.1% Asian, and 15% Hispanic. So relative to all of the other suburbs of Atlanta, this is certainly much better. And so this is a big thing that brings a lot of people here. The demographics and the racial diversity, they've done a great job of this in the city of Duluth. When it comes to things to do and recreation in this city, you really have a lot of options. If you're planning on moving here or you just have any questions about what it's like to live in Duluth, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm a local realtor here in the area and I'd be happy to help with any questions that you have. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out, but Duluth is certainly a great option when it comes to moving to Atlanta. The amount of outdoor space and parks and green space is certainly plentiful in this city. You have lots of options for these kind of things, and this is typically what comes with living in a family-friendly area in Metro Atlanta, and Duluth does a great job of having these amount of parks and green space. So you've got the excellent public schools, you've got the racial diversity, the amount of things to do in parks, and there's no wonder why so many families choose Duluth as their residence. There's so many great things for families in the city of Duluth, and it's certainly one of my favorites when it comes to the best suburbs of Atlanta. Duluth is definitely one of the best options. And another thing that brings a lot of people to this area is the amount of economy and jobs that you have in this area. Very often people who live in this city, their work is in one of the nearby cities because there's plenty of economy around here. The same cannot really be said for all of the suburbs of Atlanta. Some of these suburbs out here in Metro Atlanta are pretty quiet, and like you've got to drive super far to get to work, you know, and there's definitely not going to be a lot of employers in some of these suburbs, but Duluth has plenty of economy, plenty of industry, and so you typically don't have to go very far for finding work. Alpharetta might be about 30-45 minutes away. Buford, Suwanee, these are very close nearby. The city of Norcross may be about 15 minutes away. And so to get to all of these areas are much easier when you're living in Duluth than some of the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta. The median household income in this city is $89,000. The average in Atlanta is $82,000, and the average in the US is $75,000. So Duluth is just a bit above the average for the nation and above the average for the city of Atlanta. And so you have a lot of people who live in this area, again, because of the amount of jobs and economy around Duluth. Now, there are certainly some downsides to living in this city. Every Metro Atlanta city, every city in the US is going to have some bad side to living in there. And so if you're planning on moving or relocating to a new city, it's really important to me that you have the whole picture when it comes to moving to that city. You don't want to just look at the good. We don't want to gloss over all of the bad sides of living in a city. So let's also talk about one of the downsides of living in Duluth. One of these things is going to be the cost of the homes. You have some homes in this area that are about $400,000 to $500,000, but these homes are sometimes a bit older. When it comes to new construction homes in Duluth, you're looking at a much higher price tag for homes, closer to $700,000 or $800,000. So while this is a very family-friendly area, this does price out some of the families, and so certainly something to think about. In fact, there are many other downsides to living in Duluth, and so you want to make sure that you have all of the information. So I've actually made an entire video outlining the pros of living in Duluth and the cons of living in Duluth. You can check out that video right here. I'll see you in the next one.